I wasn't looking for directions, just somewhere to look. The city sat below the hill like scattered pieces of glass, every window carrying a different version of the night. Cars move slowly along distant roads, tiny streams of light flowing through the dark. I leaned against the railing, watching everything continue without asking for my attention. The air felt cooler than it had all day, the kind of night that makes you notice your own breathing. Funny how the sky gets larger when everything else gets smaller. There was a light above me, older than every street below, steady as a promise nobody remembered making. And for a moment, the questions in my head stopped competing for attention long enough to let the silence speak. When I was younger, I thought the future would arrive all at once, like opening a door into a completely different life. But the years move differently, more like a shoreline changing slowly, one wave at a time. The stars didn't seem any closer than before, yet somehow I felt less distant from the person I was becoming. Maybe certainty isn't the point, maybe movement is. The sky stretched endlessly beyond every unfinished plan, beyond every mistake, beyond every version of tomorrow. And standing underneath it, I realized not knowing everything didn't feel quite so frightening tonight. A plane crossed silently above the clouds, its blinking lights moving towards somewhere I would never see. For a second I imagined everyone inside, looking out different windows, thinking different thoughts, heading toward different lives. And somehow that felt comforting, the idea that all of us are traveling through uncertainty together. The strange thing about stars is how they keep shining without knowing who's watching, without knowing if anyone notices. They simply exist patiently across impossible distances. And maybe there's something beautiful about that. The city lights below me, the night sky above me, both filled with stories I could never completely know. And somewhere between them I found enough space to stop searching for perfect answers and start trusting the road ahead. The wind moved softly across the hillside, the traffic continued far below. The stars remained exactly where they'd been the whole time. And as I turned to leave, I looked back once more, not because I needed guidance, not because I needed certainty, just because some lights are easier to appreciate when they're far away. I wasn't looking for directions, just somewhere to look. evening settles slowly over the edge of town. Street lights blinked awake, one by one. Along the shoreline road, the air still carried traces of the day's warmth, refusing to leave completely. Even after sunset, a few people gathered near the overlook, looking toward the water as if expecting something, though nobody seemed sure exactly what. The horizon stayed quiet, the waves stayed patient, the sky held its breath above all of us. Some moments arrive before we understand them. A line of light crossed the darkness, too fast to be along. They're gone before anyone could point and say they truly saw it. But somehow the night felt different afterward, as if a door had opened briefly and forgotten to close. When I was younger, I thought important things would announce themselves with certainty, with signs, with perfect timing. Instead, most of them arrived quietly, a conversation, a decision, a person, a summer, a version of myself I almost missed because I was looking for something larger. Funny how the brightest moments sometimes stay the shortest. A line of light crossed the darkness, leaving no evidence behind. No photograph, no explanation, just a feeling that something beautiful had existed, even if only for a second. The crowd slowly disappeared back into their lives. Car doors closing, engines starting, headlights stretching away into different directions. But I stayed a little longer, watching the empty sky, thinking about all the things that changed me without staying. Teachers, cities, songs, friendships, entire seasons passing through my life, like visitors with somewhere else to be. Maybe permanence was never the measure of importance. Maybe some things matter because they leave. Maybe some lights are beautiful precisely because they don't remain. A line of light crossed the darkness and vanished beyond the ocean. The sky returned to exactly what it was before. Yet somehow nothing felt the same, because for one brief moment the distance above us had come alive. The waves continued, the stars continue, the city lights flickered far behind me. The night moved forward as nights always do, and somewhere between what stays and what disappears, I found a strange kind of comfort. Not everything beautiful needs to last forever. Nobody noticed at first. The sky looked normal until it didn't. Something crossed the sky before I knew what it was. At first, I thought it was a plane, another traveler moving through the dark, but there were no crossing silently above the rooftops. The city below continued without looking up. Cars moved through intersections, windows glowed softly. Conversations carried on, and somewhere overhead, a machine built by strangers kept circling the world like it had somewhere important to be. Funny how distance works. Some things stay with you without staying near, like signals crossing oceans, invisible but real, like voices you haven't heard in years, still changing the shape of who you are. I started thinking about people who drifted through my life. Teachers, friends, someone I sat beside on a long train ride, a conversation outside a concert venue, a stranger who gave directions on a rainy evening. Most of them probably don't remember me, and that's okay. The sky doesn't remember every star it carries either. Not every connection needs to last forever. Some things stay with you long after they leave, like songs without titles or dreams without endings, like tiny pieces of gravity pulling gently from somewhere you can't see. When I was younger, I thought importance was measured by duration, years, decades, lifetimes. Now I think sometimes a single moment can change your direction. More than 100 ordinary days, a sentence, a glance, a coincidence, a night you almost stayed home and didn't. The satellite continued across the darkness without hesitation, without needing applause, without knowing who might be watching, and somehow that felt reassuring. The idea that meaning exists even when nobody notices. Some things stay with you, not because they remain, but because they move through at exactly the right time, changing something small, almost invisibly, until years later you realize you never returned to who you were before. The light crossed slowly toward another horizon. The city kept glowing far below. The night kept unfolding, one quiet minute at a time. And somewhere beyond the buildings, beyond the clouds, beyond the things I could name, that tiny signal continued, moving through the dark, carrying pieces of 1,000 stories. I watched until it disappeared, and stood there a little longer, looking at the empty sky, as if it might explain something. Something crossed the sky before I knew what it was, and somehow I think I needed that. I almost didn't look up. The crosswalk finished counting before I reached the other side. A machine glowed softly near an empty parking lot. The neighborhood had settled into that hour of the night where every sound feels farther away than it really is. A train moves somewhere beyond the apartment blocks, its lights appearing briefly between the buildings, then disappearing again like it never happened. I kept walking without much of a destination, just letting the night take its time. Then something caught my attention. Above the power lines there was a pattern in the darkness, waiting where it always was. Above the traffic signals, above the sleeping houses, and for a moment the whole city felt smaller than the distance between those stars. When I was 10, I thought constellations were permanent drawings painted onto the sky, like somebody had decided exactly where everything belonged. Years later, the stars remain, but I've changed addresses, changed plans, changed versions of myself more times than I can count. Funny how the sky can feel familiar even when everything else doesn't. Maybe that's why people keep looking up. There was a pattern in the darkness, older than every street below, holding its shape while the city rearranged itself 1 year at a time. One memory at a time, one goodbye at a time. A bicycle rolled past quietly, his tires whispering across the pavement. Someone laughed from an open balcony 3 floors above. A dog barked once, then thought better of it. The night kept collecting small sounds like loose change dropped into a jar, and somehow the stars fit perfectly into all of it. Not separate from the city, just watching over it. I used to think I needed a destination, some final version of life to arrive at. Now I think maybe it's enough to keep moving and notice what's above you every once in a while. There was a pattern in the darkness, above the rooftops, above the cables, above the years behind me, and standing underneath it I felt strangely connected to every version of myself that had ever stopped to look at the same sky. The signal changed, the train disappeared, the apartment windows dimmed one by one. The street grew quieter, the air grew colder, and somewhere above it all the stars stayed exactly where they were, not guiding me, not teaching me, not promising anything, just existing. And somehow that felt enough. I almost didn't look up, I'm glad I did. You pointed out a star and gave it the wrong name. The rooftop wasn't special, just a flat piece of concrete above an aging building at the edge of town. The vending machine downstairs buzzed quietly through the night, and somewhere beyond the river traffic moved like distant waves. We leaned against the railing, looking up more than talking, the city glowing beneath us like somebody forgot to turn it off. The stars looked brighter than they probably were, maybe because we decided to pay attention. Funny how things change when you stop walking past them. We kept inventing constellations out of stars that already had names, drawing invisible lines across across the sky, like kids making maps of places that already exist. And somehow that made them feel more ours. You pointed toward the east and named the cluster of lights after a song you liked back when you were 17. I laughed, then immediately suggested something even worse for the next one. Before long, the whole sky had become a collection of inside jokes floating above the city, completely meaningless to everyone else. Maybe that's what memories are. We kept inventing constellations, one story at a time, giving ordinary stars extra reasons to stay. The night stretched wider with every ridiculous name, and neither of us cared whether any of them were accurate. A plane crossed slowly through one of our imaginary patterns, rearranging it completely without asking permission. You said we should start over, I said we probably would anyway. The years do the same thing to most things, moving pieces around until familiar shapes look different, yet somehow still feel familiar. The wine picked up, the city grew quieter, a train crossed the bridge far below, and for a moment the whole world felt small enough to fit inside a conversation. We kept inventing constellations across the same old sky, turning ordinary lights into something worth remembering. Not because they were rare, not because they were beautiful, but because we were there long enough to notice them. The rooftops stayed the same, the city stayed the same, stars stayed where they were the whole time, yet somehow everything felt different by the time we left. Maybe the sky hadn't changed, maybe we had. You pointed at a star and gave it the wrong name. I think I like ours better. Some people leave without really leaving. I passed a street today I hadn't seen in years. Nothing looked familiar except the feeling. The buildings had changed, the signs were different, even the trees seemed taller somehow. Yet something remained, like a melody you can't quite remember, but somehow recognize before the first chorus arrives. The strange thing is, I wasn't thinking about anyone until I was. Memory works quietly like that. Some people stay in orbit long after they disappear, not close enough to touch, not far enough to lose. Invisible as gravity, steady as the tide, pulling gently through years without asking permission. A teacher from middle school, a friend from another city, someone I met for only a summer. The cashier remembered my name at a place that closed years ago. Tiny connections scattered across time, most of them probably forgot about me before the season changed, and honestly, that's okay, because some things matter even when they're brief. Not every influence needs a lasting address. Some people stay in orbit like distant satellites crossing quietly overhead while life keeps moving below. You don't notice them daily, but they're still there, somewhere beyond the clouds, changing the map. I used to think the important people would be obvious, permanent, easy to identify. Now I think life is mostly made of passing intersections, short conversations, unexpected kindness, and moments that seem ordinary until years later, when you realize they shifted your direction by a few degrees, and that was enough to change everything. The moon doesn't pull one wave at a time, it pulls on entire oceans quietly, patiently, from a distance. And maybe people do too, leaving traces inside each other without ever knowing. Some people stay in orbit, not because they remain, but because they mattered at exactly the right moment. Like stars you can see in daylight, still present even when hidden, still shaping the night. The city keeps turning, the years keep moving, the roads keep changing, the seasons keep passing, and somewhere beyond the things I can measure, the people I've met continue traveling through their own skies, while pieces of them continue quietly through mine. Some people leave without really leaving, and maybe that's a beautiful thing. I brought a telescope and forgot to use it. The hill behind the neighborhood was quieter than usual, the parking lot half empty, the city glowing softly below. I carried more than I needed, a blanket, a flashlight, a bottle of water, and a telescope I'd been meaning to use for months. The sky looked clear enough, the stars looked patient enough, everything seemed ready except my attention. The night kept offering answers to questions I wasn't asking. The stars stayed overhead, exactly where they belonged, while my thoughts wandered miles away from them. I came here to look upward instead. I looked inward, and somehow the sky didn't seem to mind. A plane crossed slowly above the southern horizon, its blinking lights competing briefly with the stars. I tried to identify constellations the way people online suggested, but halfway through I started remembering an old conversation, then another, then a version of myself from years ago. The telescope pointed upward the whole time, waiting more patiently than I ever could. Some nights are for observing, some are for remembering. The stars stayed overhead, quiet and unconcerned, while memories drifted past like clouds without weather. The universe remained enormous. The questions remained unfinished, and neither seemed bothered by the other. When I was younger, I thought looking at the sky would make everything clearer. Like perspective was a switch you could simply turn on. Now I think clarity arrives differently, a little at a time. A sentence here, a realization there, a thought that finally settles after years of moving around without a place to land. The city lights flickered far beyond the trees. Someone closed a car door down the hill. The wind shifted gently across the grass. The telescope remained pointed toward a constellation I never actually found. The stars stayed overhead, the night stayed open, the world stayed larger than I could understand. But sitting there under all that distance, I felt strangely comfortable, not knowing everything. The blanket gathered dew, the flashlight dimmed. The city grew quieter, 1 hour at a time. Eventually I packed everything away, the telescope included, still mostly unused. And as I walked back down toward the sleeping streets, I couldn't help laughing at the whole thing. I brought a telescope to study the stars, and spent the entire night looking somewhere else. I brought a telescope and forgot to use it. I've never been there. And somehow I miss it. A photograph appeared while I was scrolling, half paying attention to anything at all. Green light moving across the sky, like someone painting slowly over the darkness. The caption named a place I'd never visited, a town I couldn't pronounce on the other side of the world. Yet something about it felt strangely familiar, like a memory without a beginning. Some places arrive before we do. I've never stood beneath those colors, never felt that cold air, never watched the sky move like a living thing. And still part of me believes I've been there somehow, in a dream I forgot to remember. The room remained quiet, the city remained awake. Cars moved through distant streets beyond the window. Meanwhile, my mind traveled north, past oceans, past airports, past maps, toward a horizon I couldn't actually reach. Funny how imagination crosses borders more easily than people do. Distance works differently inside a dream. I've never stood beneath those colors, yet they feel familiar, like a song you somehow know before hearing the chorus. Like a place waiting patiently inside the future. belong to new experiences, new cities, new roads, new discoveries. Now I think part of it comes from possibility, the simple fact that somewhere beyond what I've seen, the world keeps unfolding in ways I haven't imagined yet. And somehow that's comforting. The photograph disappeared with the next swipe. The algorithm moved on to something else, but the image remained long after the screen changed, floating somewhere between curiosity and nostalgia. I've never stood beneath those colors. Maybe I never will, but tonight, that isn't the point. Some dreams don't ask to become plans. Some wonders don't need a destination. Sometimes it's enough just knowing they exist. The city lights shimmered outside the glass. The clock continued forward without urgency. The night stayed quiet, the sky stayed distant, and somewhere far away, above a place I'd never seen, green light crossed the darkness like a secret. The world wasn't telling me, the world was simply sharing. I've never been there, and somehow I miss it anyway. Maybe we're all looking at the same sky tonight. The train moved through the distance beyond the apartment lights. Someone walked a quiet dog along an empty street. A window flickered briefly 3 buildings down. A bicycle crossed an intersection without another soul around. The city looked ordinary in all the usual ways, yet above the rooftops the sky felt impossibly large, holding more stories than any of us could tell. Funny how the night makes strangers feel connected. Somewhere beneath these stars, someone's driving home, someone's making plans, someone's changing their mind, someone's watching the distant light cross the darkness slowly and wondering the same things I am. A satellite moved quietly across the eastern sky. The memory of a comet returned without warning. The constellation I learned as a child still hung above the city, exactly where I left it. Years have a habit of rearranging everything else. Street names, apartments, friendships, versions of ourselves. Yet somehow the sky keeps enough familiar things to welcome us back. Maybe that's why we keep looking up. Somewhere beneath these stars, someone's writing in a notebook. Someone's missing somebody, someone's starting over. Someone's standing on a rooftop thinking they're alone while sharing the same night as millions of others. When I was younger, I thought belonging was a place you arrived at. A group, a city, a destination. Now I think it might be smaller than that. A song at the right moment, a familiar stars don't know our names. The moon doesn't keep records. The sky doesn't separate us into categories. It simply stretches outward over every road, every rooftop, every sleeping town, holding all of us equally. Somewhere beneath these stars, someone's finding their way home. Someone's letting go, someone's holding on. Someone's seeing tomorrow a little differently because of something small that happened tonight. Maybe that's enough. The city grows quieter, the trains grow fewer, the windows go dark one by one, but the sky remains open above every neighborhood, above every highway, above every version of us still becoming whoever comes next. Maybe we're all looking at the same sky tonight. And maybe that's enough to belong. I used to make wishes for everything. Every shooting star, every birthday candle, every clock that happened to read 11:11. I treated the universe like a mailbox, certain that somewhere someone was collecting requests, keeping track of dreams, sorting them carefully into categories marked someday, or maybe, or not yet. The strange thing is I never questioned it back then. Hope felt simple when I was younger. Now I stand beneath the same sky with different questions, not asking for answers, not asking for signs, just listening to the quiet between the stars and letting it be enough. The years arrive gradually like weather, changing things without announcing themselves. The roads became longer, the maps became larger. The people I loved found different directions. Some stayed nearby, some became stories, some became lessons I still carry without realizing how often they travel with me. Life kept moving even when I stopped planning it. Now I stand beneath the same sky without a list of wishes, without a destination pinned to tomorrow. The night doesn't owe me an explanation, and somehow that feels comforting. A train crossed the distance somewhere beyond the hills. A porch light flickered at the edge of a quiet street. The city hummed softly far below, everyone carrying their own unfinished thoughts, their own invisible maps, their own reasons for looking up. And for a moment I felt connected to all of it. Maybe wonder was never about receiving answers. Maybe it was always about asking the kind of questions that make the world feel larger. The kind of questions that keep us curious long after certainty has left the room. Now I stand beneath the same sky that watched over every version of me, the hopeful one, the restless one, the uncertain one. across the empty streets. The night stretches outward, without a conclusion, without a lesson, without a promise. Just space, just time, just possibility. I used to make wishes for everything tonight. I think I'll simply look up and stay a while.